It's Sunday evening here at GC Sports. We're racing the C group here tonight. We have Michigan International Speedway in the booth with me tonight. It's called Silent Winner. Silent is what he went for, but it's Justin Shackett.
Hi.
And we have in-race reporter Mo Power Energy.
Hello?
Yeah, so this should be a good one. Pretty good field. Most of these guys I haven't really heard of. This is opening week, so bear with us as we get everything fine-tuned and work together for these guys. But should be a pretty good one. 21 cars will be going green at Michigan, and then after this race concludes, tune in for the slider side. About 7:30 Eastern time is when they'll be racing, so just tune in, stay with us. We got a couple good races for you. Both of them are 25%. Two times wear. There's no cautions, no stages in this group. It's just race to the finish line. Over to you, Energy. What are you thinking strategy-wise, knowing that there's no flags here at Michigan?
We just did qualifying. I'm starting third here. Mini Coop, he got the pole. There's definitely going to be people that they're going to try to save that 3-4 laps and try to make it on one stop. I just know that's going to happen. I'm not going to do that because I hate that. You know that. I've never been about that fuel saving life. But I know some of these guys are probably going to try to. If you get into a wreck early with there not being any cautions, if you get into a wreck early, I could see where some guys will definitely try to do it that way, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I've started the timer here. We have about 6 seconds. We'll be going green. Looks like 22 drivers as an extra driver just got into the lobby. I'm going to back out. I had already received invites, so I'm blue screened now. You guys can't see anything or hear anyone else. Lucky you. And getting in now, they can hear you. All right, so cool. We're going to go ahead and get in here. Shackett, did I ever send you invites?
You did.
Okay, you can join, bud.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll see how fun this one is. Should be a pretty good time.
It's Michigan. Michigan, I think if you're starting in the middle of the back, it's going to be kind of rough until people start getting spread out. But
yeah, I mean,
overall, this should produce a pretty decent race.
And really, the C group in total, that's kind of how it's set up. Is it's their tracks to get racy and people start getting used to and accustomed to each other. Again, here we don't do cautions, we don't do anything like that for any viewer at home. The reason is we're trying to let these guys get used to the league, get used to each other, see who's going to show up every week. Top 12 in points are going to advance to the B group next season. So we're hoping. Oh, it had one of those delayed starts.
Yeah.
I might have waited too long to get out of the lobby.
I think everyone did a pretty good job there.
So, real quick, at the beginning of the race, we have Mini Cooper in the 42 car. He takes an early lead. He sat on the pole. Head Palm Coaster sitting in second, the 73. That is your in-race reporter, Mo Power NRG. He's trying to get second right now, but we're going to go ahead and kind of scroll through so you guys can see all the drivers there on the track here in the C Custom. Again, those are the three we talked about. 38 car, this is Audi 757. Memphis Phoenix in the 11. I'm seeing bad lag out of, I think that's the 78 car. Oh, it's the 3 of old Johnny Boy, lagging really bad. The 25 of Broom, 34 Joker Smoker, 78 Buckstopper, 1 Warpig, he gone in the 8, Keith in the 2, NASCAR 82, he's in the 41, Smooth Puppy, don't know anything about him, he's a new guy, he's here in the 4, Pro 75, oh, as I talk about the 4, he gets hit into the wall and is going to lose the draft. Pro 75, Dave Ace is the car that left in the 20 car, Den Kate in the 48, MacTech 17, Esfa misqualifying, starts in the rear in that 14, NASCAR WPS, BS14 cars in the 62, and Hellraiser rounding out the field in that 19 machine. Back up front, we have a battle for the race lead as Mo Power Energy has gone to the outside with Wayne Broom inside Mini Cooper trying to get the position as they go through turns 1 and 2. Over to you, Justin.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on these guys. It's definitely going to be like a really good race. I think the biggest thing here is going to see who really is going to get single file just to really push the guys in front to try to break away from the pack, just to try to get more calm and settle it so we're not having a huge group. But you never know. I mean, this is C group. These guys are here to prove that they belong in B, and then, you know, go to B and prove that they belong in A. So
yeah, I mean, in reality, right, so a lot of these guys, again, I spoke about in the C group especially, this is where people join the league, and I haven't really ever heard of some of these names out here. So they're 4 wide in the corner, NRG ends up into the wall. That's unfortunate.
Oh my God.
22 spinning, that's Palm Coaster. 73 was able to keep the draft, so he should be okay, but that 22 is going to be in a world of hurt. Now, again, no cautions. He's going to have to rely on the 2 pit stops here, but, right, so I've never heard of a lot of these names out here, and this is where you kind of start making a name for yourself, and these guys are going to listen back to the fact that it's being broadcasted. They're going to be happy, you know, get to see this for the first time. Overall, it's going to help some of the drivers that may struggle, and this being customs, might even be their first time building a custom setup. So time will tell, but I expect good things here out of this group as they progress and get used to each other. 3 wide action for, is that second place for battling for energy?
No, that's 9.
Yeah, there's
8,
a lot of cars in front of you.
something like that. Numbers are hard.
Yeah, a little aggressive back there for 8th, 9th place, but that group there, Justin, over to you, but that group there, they really need to just line up to be able to catch those leaders, right?
yeah, so the biggest thing that I've noticed right here is you have Palm Coaster, you have Salt Life, you have Audi. Those 3 actually co-own a different league that I've seen and heard of. So I definitely expect those guys to definitely, when they get hooked up, work with each other. But right here, the best thing for Audi and NRG, get single file, push each other, whatever who's in front that you're comfortable with pushing, and that can lead you back to this pack. Because the more and more you race side by side, that front pack is just going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I mean, doing all this racing will actually, if I go back to the front here, Mini Cooper, you're seeing these top 4 or 5 drivers, right? So the 25 of Broom, 42 Mini Cooper, don't remember who the 3 car is. That's old Johnny Boy, right? Those guys, they're hooked up nose to tail, and they're going places. Then, of course, you have the 8 car back here. That is he gone with the, what's that, the 1? Sorry. Scrolling through these names pretty quick here. The War Pig and the 1.
Like we have the 38 that went around on the back stretch right there.
Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing a little bit of lag out of that 14 car. Might have been what caused the issue. But the 38 Audi, yeah.
That's why he didn't qualify and started at the rear.
He said he didn't save his setup.
Yeah, just from watching NRG's perspective, just because I'm definitely keeping an eye on NRG. I mean, we're all familiar with NRG. We're familiar that he can be one of the top performers. Obviously, he's back from a little bit of a hiatus. But I can see with a lot of the guys behind him, their cars are not necessarily built for long run speed, because you can already see them starting to get loose going in and off the turns.
Yeah, this is really where you're going to learn, right? So these setups, you, unlike necessarily other places, not to say that places are wreckfests, right? But you might build cars, your setups for short run speed, assuming that there's going to be cautions every 10 laps, right? So here you're guaranteed to run the full fuel run because there is no cautions to save you and give you the shorter run. So you're really going to find out more about a setup maker in a race like this than necessarily when you have the cautions in the stages and short runs. That there is no 15 laps, then pit, and then come out and do another 15 laps, split it in half. This is, you got to run it dry, and a lot of times you'll start getting really, really loose at the end of the run if you don't build accordingly.
Yeah, one driver that I'm excited to watch, not only that because we're friends, but one driver that's definitely excited to do more of the long run without the, you know, the stage finishes and stuff like that is Keith. Keith is very, very good. He likes to, you know, kind of lay low. Same thing with Denkate. You know, I'm excited to see what these guys can do. And the nice thing about not running with cautions and stage finishes, it helps prep you and it makes you say, okay, maybe it's not necessarily the best thing to go straight out in the first 10 laps. Maybe just if somebody's taking, a run on you, let them take the run. Fall back. Let everybody get single file, let everything work itself out, and then you can see, okay, these cars are not necessarily built for the long run, but I am, so eventually they're going to come back to me, where I can then overtake them more easily, and, try to stay out of the quote-unquote chaos of the packs.
Yeah, I want to post out there on YouTube. We have Esfa and Justin Owens out there. They both commented. Esfa, of course, racing. So he commented before the race started, and then Justin is actually cheering for him. So thanks for checking out the YouTube. But yeah, there's a lot of different things going on here. This top 5 up front, they've now decided not to work together. They're now racing. Energy. How many laps you guys looking at in the ballpark before pit stops?
We're looking at the next 10 to 12 laps. We'll start seeing through the pit.
Oh,
I just hit
38.
10.
Yeah, 38 around again on the backstretch. So you hit 10?
Yeah, I just hit 10.
Yeah, it looks like we have actually multiple cars. We have 2 cars on the apron of 3 and 4.
Yeah, the 48 and the 4 were down there. I'm not sure what happened as that. Oh, 42 of Mini Cooper goes in the wall off the front bumper of the 1 car. So both those guys drastically going to lose this draft here. As old Johnny Boy in the 3 going for the race lead, getting back to the second group.
They just went a lap down. That was not for position, both of them cars. They must have been wrecking for a hot minute. The 48 and that wasn't fun.
The 4, the 48, and the 38 that it spun. Oh, another guy losing control back there. Yeah, it's looking like the exit of turn 2 is hurting these people. The 17 of Mac Attack he spun just barely. The 62 of BS14 is now backed out of the race. Audi also looks to be out of the race. I say these guys may be on just pitting, but I'm not seeing any motion out of this car, so I'm going to say he's out of the race. That's unfortunate.
Going back to what Shackett was saying, Keith, I was doing a few runs with him earlier. I know he had a quick car. Seemed like I had a little bit better speed off the corner, but we did multiple laps side by side earlier. Had a lot of fun doing that. I don't know. Is that him behind me?
Yeah, the biggest thing with Keith is he's not what you would necessarily call an aggressive driver. Like, if somebody's challenging him, he will just pull over and let you go. He won't challenge you for the spot. Sometimes that's great because you don't make lots of enemies. You don't make lots of,
Right.
things like that. But at the same time, you don't want to always be known as that driver who, somebody can put pressure on knowing that you're just going to move out of the way. With these draft-heavy tracks, you have to, build up the knowledge to the guys around you to say, hey, he's going to work with us, he's not going to pass me, but he's going to be a good pusher.
Yeah, unfortunately for Keith, racing the way he does, I love Keith to death. He's been here since day one. He doesn't miss a race. He shows up every week, but he's still down here in the C group here on the custom side. But the issue with being so forgiving and letting people go and just kind of riding around in the back is anything that somebody else does could affect you in losing the draft. If you run up front in a pack and something happens like what we'd seen with Energy earlier, he ended up in the wall. He's still running in 6th place right now, has a group behind him, still a pretty good spot, right? Well, if Keith was at the back of that group and say somebody lagged, which Keith is in that right there, 2 cars behind right now. But if he was the last car in line and say there was a lag spike or somebody else missed their entrance and he fell back, you lose the draft and then you fall to the next pack. And then the next pack does the same thing. And this happens to Keith a lot where he ends up losing and going a lap down in the final 10 to 20 laps of a race, and you really hate to see it, but he does show up every single weekend, so kudos to that. Pretty good little battle here as Keith went to the inside of the 34 car. He's racing with NASCAR 82 now back here, the 3rd and 4th.
Takers on pit road. It looks like we have the other Ally financial car, the 42. Who is the other person on pit road?
Ooh, the 14 of Esfa Salt Life spins it trying to get to pit road.
Whoever the hell just came off pit road, the 3 car didn't stay on the apron. They was right off the track.
Yeah, so one thing that I can tell you from experience is with custom setups at Auto Club and at Michigan. The one thing at Michigan that's going to help you getting on pit road is the sooner you get on the apron, the more apt you're not to spin the car out. Because if you go straight from the apron...
Oh, somebody's eating shit on the front stretch. Stay up there, please.
It looks like that is the 8 car.
That was one of your race leaders. That is the 8 car he gone. I don't know what happened. Maybe he tried pitting or something.
I think he was trying to pit.
Yeah, did
Exactly what I was trying to say not to do.
So this is now your race leading pack, not the 3 car. He is the one that already pit and came back on the track. But 73 is now your race leader after these pit stops. That would be what Energy was screaming about when he said, "Mom, I'm leading."
So let me ask you, Energy, are you looking to pit solo, or are you looking to take some of these guys with you that are behind you so that you guys continue to work together?
I think you touched on it as far as, you know, this is a pretty draft-dependent track. If you have the opportunity to pit with others, you definitely want to do so. You can run solid lap times by yourself here, but I just don't think that's really the way to go. I think I got, who's this? I got Keith behind me, and Joker Smoker, I don't know who he is. I think Keith will probably go with, me and him were talking earlier. I think he'll probably pit with me. I got a pretty good long run car here.
Yeah, your car looking pretty stable.
Keith is going to do a very smart thing here. These guys that just came off pit road, this is the one time that you want to give way to them.
And the 48 just asked me.
So, the biggest thing here is, like, you notice they're a lap down. They've already
I'm trying to get down. I gotta pit! Get out of my way!
That's the,
it looks like Keith is going to follow you.
Yeah, that's the excitement from in-car. I don't like what Keith did, though. He tried going low and show that he's going to be pitting.
Oh,
and he actually decides not to pit. Yeah. Okay, so in that scenario, I liked what he did then. I thought he was, he went a little too high in the corner to be trying to pit with people behind him, but he was not pitting, so that would be why. Smooth Puppy is in the 4. Again, some of these guys I don't recognize. You know, when I get through their name, I don't recognize it. Looks like Hellraiser in the 19. He has now spun it, trying to get to pit road. Esfa Salt Life, we're still seeing some lag out of that 14 machine. I don't know if you're listening still, Esfa, but you are lagging pretty good. Letting you know in case cars come up on you. NASCAR WPS pitting now.
Yeah, the one thing I'm watching here is some of these guys. Pit road entry is going to get easier, I promise you, but some of them are being really conservative and maybe slowing down too much when it's coming to getting on pit road.
You know,
have to find that happy medium.
Yeah, to go with what you were saying.
Pit road to get on and off of.
Yeah, they're both. This is a pretty easy track to get on and off, and you're right. Some of these guys are going a little too early. They're getting on the brakes and slowing down. But this is another one of those things that people don't really think about when they set up cars for, you know, these custom setup races. But your brake bias aspect in these custom setups is huge. If you put too much in it, you're gonna have you'll get tight and shoot up the track. As soon as you go to lock your brakes, and if you have it too low, then when you get on the brakes, it's gonna spin you out regardless. You know what I mean? So it's really a fine line that some of these guys that are newer, they worry about finding the speed on the track, but they never think about the pit stops. And in a race like this where you have no cautions, it's important to make sure that your brakes are gonna work very well when you come to pit road. Or you'll see like what you were talking about, Justin, where they get on the brakes too soon. The reason is the brake bias. So they have to, instead of being able to just lock the brakes and get down to speed, they kind of have to tap the brake, tap the brake, tap the brake. So it makes them go in a little bit more gingerly, simply because they didn't have the high enough percentage on their brakes.
So who do we have in the lead right now, Energy?
The 3 car.
That would be the 11.
Oh, the 11 of Memphis Phoenix. I'm assuming he hasn't pit yet.
I think he's one of the last cars not to pit.
Well, like I said, I assumed that there was going to be guys that were going to try to save that 3, 4, 5 laps of fuel.
Which, by the way, I'm glad you bring that up, Energy, is illegal. If you do not stop a second time, you will be penalized 1 lap. It is mandated 2-stop race.
All right, well, I'm running this damn thing out, so.
Yeah, well, because, right, and the reason we do that here at GC Sports, we don't want anybody going so slow that they're causing issues on the track while the other people are going hammer down trying to go fast, right? So
The
you
3 is
can't
your
save
leader
more than
now.
5 laps. Yeah, I thought he would be old Johnny Boy up here in the all-black number 3 Intimidator car. He pit first, so he came out to this big lead, and then the cars that you're seeing in second, third, fourth, fifth, the looks like the 48, or no, yeah, that's 48, with the
25.
42, that is the 25, 25, 42,
I'm
and
in
1.
fifth.
Okay, so the 18's lap down then. So we have Broom, Mini Cooper, and Warpig, second, third, and fourth. Those guys pit 2 laps after the 3 car. Had to get through that gaggle of cars that, you know, when Energy was in there and Keith and all them. So they lost some time, but I expect them to catch this 3 car pretty quickly here as they do have the draft.
Yeah, and one driver who has been kind of in and out of GC Sports over the seasons is definitely Broom. I think that he's going to be a top contender for the C Customs this season. There's obviously a lot of guys in here who specialize in customs, but I think he's going to be one of the top performers in this season, this coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Broom's fast. We've had issues in the past where he tends to get a little over-aggressive from time to time, but
He
I've
never
actually...
lacked speed.
Yeah, I mean, he always has speed, that's for sure. Maybe the slowing down aspect's a little bit different, but, you know, the Broom's a good driver. I've actually had more issues with him outside of the racing aspect than what we have had on track with him. So I agree with you, Justin. I expect to see the 25 car up front in a lot of these races.
Yeah, the other car I'm watching too is somebody who I became friends with last season, being in B Customs, is Warpig. Warpig is another guy who last season got tied up in a lot of other people's problems, and he was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But he's another guy that I think is going to be a consistent driver through this season. The biggest thing for him is he's looking to get himself back in B, where he knows he belongs.
So actually, you're not wrong, but the one thing that has actually killed Warpig from being in the B group last season was attendance. You know, we only had 8 races, and he missed 2 of them, and it's almost impossible to make up the points. Because here, you know, to the fans, so they know what we're talking about here. Here at GC Sports, this is our entry level, right? So anybody that hasn't advanced or is new to the league, they come here, and you're like, ooh, I see a car spin trying to get to pit road. Anyways, right? So everybody comes to this group. That was SV Salt Life in the 14. Top 12 advanced to the B group. Once you get to the B group, you're thinking, all right, cool, I've made it to the B group, but the bottom 4 drivers in the B group every season get dropped back down to C because maybe they need a little bit more work. They're not quite ready for the B group. They were fast in C. They proved their way up one time, but then things just didn't work out, right? So it's an open revolving door here at GC where you're always going to have lots and lots of cars, right? So yeah, unfortunately for Warpig, he's one of the drivers that was in the bottom 4 last season and got dropped back down into the C group. And up front, the second pack there, the 25, 42, and 1 all caught the race leader of the 3 car. The 25 and the 42, that's Broom and Mini Cooper. Yeah, 25 of Broom and 42 of Mini Cooper went around the 3 car. We seen that, but then when Warpig and the 1 car tried to go around, contact between the 1 and the 3, so that is why that 1 Monster Energy Chevrolet has lost the draft here.
But, I mean, on the flip side of that, he can choose to either continue to run by himself, or do you back up to the 2 cars that are behind you, which is the 41 and the 73?
I'm sorry, what?
I think the 3
looks like he's going to go down
now.
pit road. Looks like the 1's pitting with him. So we're going to watch again to see if anybody gets loose, hitting on pit. It looks like we have another car with the 3 pitting.
Yeah, I'm seeing the
I
48.
don't think the 1's going to make it.
That was pretty hot.
That's going to be close.
Yeah, we don't
We've
have...
got a lot of different strategies.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, right? So if you have to go with what Energy's saying, right? So the strategy level here, we're mandating a second stop. So you're going to have people that are going to run their fuel out, both runs, come down and have a splash and go, basically 6 laps. You have to get going, and your tires should actually last that, where you only need fuel. Then you're going to have people that they're going to try to run the first one out and split the second set. So what's it, like 25 laps? Or 30 laps, something like that, right? So they'll go 15 and 15. So you have your initial 30 laps and then 15 and 15, you know? So it really is going to be crazy strategy. I personally would have liked to have seen somebody come down after running the 6 laps, right? Do the 6 laps in the middle and then do a full fuel run at the end. 42 on track looks like simply because 25's underneath him, as here comes Energy and the 41. Is that NASCAR 82, I believe?
Mom! I'm leading!
But back to what Taddy was saying, to the 6-lap strat and then doing the full fuel run, that's the strategy that I probably would have done. Yes, in the initial you're going to lose the most time because nobody's probably going to do that strat with you, so they're going to go down by yourself. If you have clean track, you can run, you know, single car qualifying times. Oh,
what in the hell is the 41 doing?
The 41 either lagged out or left. Because
I don't know, one of the two. He was going fast as hell.
Yeah, I have that he's out of the race. Looks like he's motionless on pit road. And what I'm talking about with that, actually, see the 2 car here is kind of weaving forward and backwards, where the 41 has no motion to it. So whenever a broadcaster says they believe someone is out of the race and they're motionless on pit road, that's the difference, right? So the game has a glitch that when the car is stopped there, but you're still in the race, just actually pitting, your car shakes a little bit. So to viewers at home, that is the difference there, if you're ever wondering when you see a broadcaster hit a car that's on pit road.
So we can still obviously see nothing's changed over the time. Nobody still wants to work with NRG because every time he gets somebody to work with him, they either have a really bad pit on and pit off, or they lag out.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to work with me either.
The 41 said that his internet pooped the bed.
It did. He was going at least 250 mile an hour on the outside of me there going into 1. That was impressive.
Listen, I hate those surges when somebody gets a surge and all of a sudden they end up half a track
15 to
ahead
go,
of
by
you.
the way, boys.
Ooh, we're coming down to the end. So these guys have run 35 laps. We have 15 to go, so I'd say we're at about the last third of the race. 18 in NASCAR WPS just murdered himself.
No, I have not pit yet. The second time on there.
18 just lagged and came to a complete stop and got the 24. Pro 75 caught up.
No,
Not sure what happened there.
He wrecked. I was just calling that just before you asked Energy about the pit thing. I watched the 18 caught the apron on the front stretch, hit the grass, and spun into the outside wall. And now I'm seeing him in the grass in 3 and 4. So I don't know if he's trying to pit or what's going on, but I know the 11 was almost collected in that one. Things are going south for that Kyle Busch Toyota right now. Francis Smith, a.k.a. that was your 41 car that we were talking about. That was NASCAR 82 out there. His internet went out. He posted that on YouTube. That does stink. You were running up front pretty good, man. That's unfortunate. And DJ Smoka, thanks for tuning in on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, the next thing that I'm excited about is the slider portion of this, because that's where I consider myself a specialist. Customs, I've dabbled in them, obviously. People have seen me in the custom side more now in GC sports, but I've never been a huge custom person. I've always been a slider, but customs can be fun at certain tracks, especially in the Auto Club and, you know, Talladega, Daytona. What I consider the speedway tracks, when it comes to road courses, forget it.
I mean, I look at it like this, you know, this is the first time I've messed with customs and...
But 42 just dove it in and moved the 3 car. Sorry, go ahead. Back to you, Energy.
Oh, you're good. I'm more of a slider myself, person, I guess, just because... you know, we used to have arguments about this as far as what's a level playing ground for everyone? I think sliders. At that point, you're picking your poison. Custom setups. There's basically like 5 setups that are floating around the entire community, and someone has one of them.
Sorry to interrupt, but the 3 car just completely punted the 25 in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, though, the 42 had done that to the 3. That's how the 3 got put back in line. So they're getting a little dicey up here at the front. Everybody wants to be the leader. A little too early for that. If it's me, I'd actually want to be where the 25 is right now. When I come around turn 4 and it's 3-car draft, especially with all the contact I've already seen, I want to be the 3rd car in line, because guy in second is going to make contact with the race leader, and I'm going to go underneath both of them. That's my own personal preference with where I want to be right now. But if you're the 3 car, you can also try to drive it in deep and protect from somebody being able to get underneath you. But the draft is, we talked about it, this is essentially just a super speedway race where you actually have to lift a little bit. That's the only difference. But the draft is strong here.
I got no help out here. I got like over a whole straightaway lead right now, but that's going to change here in about 2 laps.
I do want to tell you, Energy, out in YouTube, you do have someone cheering for you. John Tiller has tuned in and said, go get him, Energy.
Hell yeah.
I didn't think I'd see the day that you had a fan, but
I know,
has happened.
that's weird, ain't it?
So I like what the 42 did right here. He saw the 25 and the 3 kind of battling for the low line. He stayed up high, and I think running the high line into the turn is a little bit of a better line sometimes, because you can get the run down the back stretch and the front stretch.
The only thing that I don't like that the 42, right, and via all the contact that's being made, it's probably mandated that he had to do it. When I say mandated, like in his own head, he's known he's got to do it, and it just happened right there, right? So the 3 car makes contact with him. It's going to move the 42 backwards, of course, right? But if you're running the outside, it's great. Like you were saying there, Shackett, you can get a great run on the outside. The only way for that to work, though, is you have to pin the guy on the inside down. You can't be so far stretched that they have fair game to just run these lines. You want to pinch them down, and then you can have the great run off while they're still turning the wheel and burping the throttle. So not doing that, however, was probably to stay off contact, but contact was caused anyway, so pick your poison there.
How many laps to go on RV?
9? I'm on pit road. I think it's 9.
So the lap car right here, I don't necessarily like what he just did. He completely slowed down the leaders. And that gave the 3 a huge run on the outside.
Who did that?
This is the 19, I believe.
No, he had just come off pit road. Or was getting ready to pit. I think I've just seen him on pit road, though. To the viewer out there, Justin Owens, you were asking about SV Salt Life. He's currently running in the back. He has opted to let the guys go and just ride around. Basically, he's having lag issues tonight. Said he's on the wrong one of his internet, so he's going to switch before the sliders. But SV Salt Life, unfortunate entrance to this season. I expected him to be one of the top competitors, but he's only in the back simply because of lag issues. He's being respectful to the rest of the field, trying not to cause any issues. So SV Salt Life is probably running about 15th to 18th, if I were to guess right now.
And I think the biggest thing why the top 3 are running the way they are is because they literally have nobody besides the 3 of them competing for this win.
Well, just give it a few minutes.
I mean, the problem is with how hard they are racing each other. I still expect one of these 3 to be not at the end of this race. A little too much contact is being made, and all it takes is a little bit of bump. We're seeing the 42 and the 3 right now, both showing displeasure with each other. Lots of contacts have been happening between those 2 cars. If I'm the 3 car right now and the 42 wanted to, he could bump me up track, 3 ends up in the wall, loses the draft, end of his night, right? That didn't happen, but I'm not saying that it won't happen here by the end. These guys are racing a little too hard for what I would be doing with over 5 laps left in this race.
And the biggest thing for the 42 and the 3, I don't know if they're in a party where somebody's watching this, because I know when I race CC, I have the broadcast on in the background just because it makes me feel good when my name's mentioned, but that's besides the point. You don't want to give the 25 of Broom any chance of the 42 and the 3 side drafting each other to let him escape. If he can get away, you will not catch him.
5 to go, by the way.
5 laps to go now. So this is where I'd start racing a little harder. I have the screen on Hellraiser. This is for you, Tiller. He is approximately 2 laps down. He had one pit road issue trying to get on there the first stop. He about spun it out and lost a lap there. And then I believe he just recently went another lap down. That's the car that you were talking about, Shackett, when the leaders were coming around. And the 3 car here is about to lose the draft. He's still there, so he may suck up really fast here, especially if 25 and 42 start racing. But if I was them, I'd stay in line right now and try to keep that 3 out of the draft, as there's now 4 laps to go here at Michigan International Speedway for the GC Sports C Custom Series season opener for Season 3. And, the 42 car gets a little tight on exit. He catches the wall. He's going to lose a little bit of time. He drops down to the bottom. The 3's trying to get a run on the outside. 42 goes back up and makes the block. Those two have no love loss if they've made contact throughout this whole race, but the 25 of Broom sitting there hoping that they're going to start racing a little bit more so he can walk away. But all 3 of these drivers right now still in contention as we come to 3 laps to go here at Michigan on who will be the season opener race winner here at Michigan.
The best thing about this, too, is are we going to have a veteran or 2 first-time drivers to GC win this?
So actually, you're talking about Broom as a past driver here, right? Is where you're going with that. So technically, as far as GC Sports is concerned, this would be all 3 of their first race in GC Sports. Now, Broom and Mini Cooper both raced in Giggity Racing League, and I think Broom was still in, I don't know, was he in Cringe when we were Cringe?
Yeah.
I think he was already gone before it became Cringe. But Mini Cooper had raced in Giggity in the past.
Yeah,
so
there was 2, and there was Mini Cooper, and there was someone else that had a very similar name.
Yeah.
That's it.
2 laps to go here. The 42 car trying to make his move now. Tried getting to the bottom on the inside of the 25 of Broom. Unable to do so, as Shackett spoke about earlier. That outside will prevail on these runs. And so the 25 gets the draft. Now, what's really going to play a role, if there's no contact between the 42 and the 25, is who does the 3 car go with? The 42 will make a move as they're taking the white flag here. 42 goes to the outside. 3 is going with him.
Slow down there, number 3.
Yeah, the 3 drops back down.
track.
He drops back down to the bottom to try to push the 25 instead of the 42. 42 and 3, they're both going to wreck here, I believe.
That's it.
Yeah,
Did
the
somebody sputter? The 42's out.
No,
The
42 hit the wall pretty hard. I don't think he's out of fuel. The 3 hit him pretty hard. He probably has just decided to back it down. I'm actually riding along with him. He is out of fuel. I guess you're right. He didn't take enough.
I was on board with the 3, and I thought for sure that his car sputtered ever so slightly coming down the backstretch.
Alright, I don't know who the 8 was, but he was ghosted going into 3 and 4, and his car went through my car, and like he definitely ate turds. So just if he goes back and watches this, he was totally ghosted on my screen.
I can't wait to get the results, because I'm kind of curious to see what the top 10 looks like.
Yeah, to any viewer, I need somebody to try, or to any of the drivers that are listening, I need full results for everyone in the field in order to do points for the series.
I got it.
A little different than what we normally do. All we're going to do here tonight is invite your race leader. Our race winner. We do have another race here coming up in about 15 to 20 minutes. I have to set that lobby up, so we're only going to do 1 interview, then we're going to end the broadcast so that we can, at that point, get other, I can take a break, Shaq can take a break, and we can get ready to do this next race. I have full results here. We have Wayne Broom.
42 dropped clear to 10.
Yeah, that stinks for him. We have Broom, Old Johnny Boy in the 3, NRG. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Keith in 4th, he gone 5th. Warpig, Joker Smoker, Mac Attack, Memphis Phoenix, and Mini Cooper rounding out your top 10. To let everyone know where people finished, right? So then we have Palm Coaster, Pro 75, Esfa Salt Life, Buck Stopper. Those drivers all finished on the lead lap. Then Hellraiser in 15th, 1 lap down. Smooth Puppy, NASCAR WPS, Denkate, NASCAR 82, Audi, and BS 14 cars, and Dave Ace round out your field here.
And Mini Cooper had your fastest lap at a 37.970.
And that is also going to be a point there from Mini Cooper. In the custom series, we give an extra point to the fast lap. In the sliders, we do not.
I need an extra point regardless.
Energy wants, he led a lap, he told his mom about it and wants some points for it. Since you're in here, right, I was only going to do the race winner, but since you're in here anyways, Energy, the car looked pretty stable on the long run. Looked like you had one of the best, if not the best, long run car. Unfortunately, that incident at the beginning cost you that lead pack draft, but overall you had a pretty good night.
Yeah, I ain't gonna complain. It's probably the first time anyone who's even watching has seen me start and finish a race in a long time.
You're not wrong there.
But no, I had quite the break from the game itself, and you know, I don't know. I come back home and I just had kind of the itch to do some league racing again. So yeah, it was a little bumpy there to begin with, but that was to be expected until we got sorted out. There was a ton of strategy. I didn't expect there to be 5, 6 different people on different strategies. But no, overall, not a bad race. Congrats to Broom. I don't know exactly what his strat was, but it definitely worked for him. So, congrats, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like he just kind of ran his stuff out and then pitted towards the end, trying to get him in here actually so we could talk to him. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it was a pretty good season opener. Exactly what you would expect. There was 22 drivers out there that, for the most part, I would assume at most 5 or 6 of these guys had ever raced together, you know, other than doing practice lobbies. This was their first actual point race. So I can't say that I didn't expect to see some wrecks and some carnage. That's why we shut the cautions off here, so that these guys get the opportunity to rebound and see who's going to stick with it. But yeah, all in all, I thought that was pretty good season opener. What about you, Shaq? Oh, go ahead. Energy.
I was just going to say, I think you're going to see a little more chaos in the sliders.
You're going to see a little more cars, too, as 33 drivers signed up for that one. And then
you can put me on that list and add me to the chat whenever, but you all go ahead and finish this one up.
Obviously, yeah, as far as the season opener goes, like Taddy was saying, it is what you expect. You know, these guys are fresh off, you know, the boat, no puns intended, Energy. Some of them have never raced in here before. Some of them just were in B and now they find themselves in C. So, you know, the guys that are down here now that came here from B have to strategize and tell themselves, okay, I'm here. It's not because you're a bad driver. It could be that you had really bad luck. Could be that your attendance didn't work out. But everybody in here has the opportunity, in my opinion, to be in B. So I think it's going to be definitely a good run for some guys. I think you're going to see maybe the top 4 in points run away with it. That's my prediction. Can't tell you exactly who yet, based off the first race, because Play Tracks and Michigan and Auto Club, it's a free-for-all. Anybody can be good there. You know, when you get to the mile and a half and the short tracks and the road courses, then you start seeing the guys who are here to play really show up. But no, that was a good race. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next, because that's a lot of cars.
Yeah, to any of the viewers at home, the remaining schedule here for these guys, they have Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Iowa, Chicago, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Bristol, Talladega, Canadian Tire, and end the season at Auto Club. But we have doing something a little different this year, as the race number 4, which is Iowa, and race number 9, which is Talladega. Those 2 races will be double points night, so those will really help somebody advance their way into the B group if you can do well at those 2 tracks. So it doesn't look like Broom's going to be joining us. So for myself, Justin, and NRG, we're going to go ahead and end this broadcast so that we can get ready to get the next slider race going. I have a few more guys I have to add to the invite list and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in, and about 7:20 Eastern time, we will be going live again with the slider race. So see you in about half an hour here, and thanks for tuning in.